Hello and welcome back. This is David from the Personal Finance Squad.
We just went through Chapter 3 goals. Our main goal is to create fixed amounts for our entire budget and to go through those exercises and how we achieve that. However, there is one concept that we need to look at before we go further, and that is paying bills in lump sums. As a loose interpretation, let's say you go to the store and you need a loaf of bread and it's $2 and you like this brand, you buy it all the time. And then you know they're going to sell it for $1, right? That's a no-brainer. You're going to go do it. So now when it comes to other bills in the budget, you may have the ability to go do this and save money for other services or things that you just buy straight up. So, for example, just a little dialogue here, but when we choose to pay for services up front, again, you may get cheaper rates for the entire billing cycle rather than paying month to month. If you pay month to month, you will not get a deal. And the reason that this is possible is the business gets cash up front for that entire cycle, and it alleviates them from having to collect each month and reduce the odds of not paying them. So this is risk adverse, meaning they've made the risk less because they know they have your money at least for that cycle, that time period. So if we look a little further here, some examples of where you might save a few bucks by paying up front. I just threw out a couple of things that I'm aware of that I've done. Satellite radio, hosting for websites, and yoga classes. The example we could talk about is the gym membership for Jasper. He has it as $26 a month, so you know he's not getting a deal. But let's look at an example that this would apply to, and then you can start thinking about, and we'll talk about other ways that you might have items in your budget to benefit from this. So for example, we say the City Art Museum and Science Center offers a yearly membership for $504 at $42 a month. But they are willing to offer at $26 a month on average if you pay $312 straight up in a lump sum. So when you look at it on paper, the math is pretty logical. You're saying I could pay $42 a month, $504 a year, and you're none the wiser, and you're fine, and things are covered, and you're good. But if you look at it and say, you know what? Someone says, hey, how would you like to pay $26 a month? And you'd be like, yeah, okay, well, how do I do that? Sign me up. So the question is, do you have the $312? As you can see, the difference is clear, that you would save $192 by performing this effort. So if we go a little further in here, it's not a matter of what's the obvious choice, because we know that the obvious choice is to pay the $312. But the question is the liquidity. So we say, if I don't have the $312, I'm clearly going to stick with the $42 option. So what's important to think about here is if I have the $312, that also means that I'm going to need to come up with another $312 because it's a yearly membership. And we're taking the assumption that you're going to go back. So what we're saying here is that here's the upfront payment of $312. Well, you're going to need another $312 in the 13th month because you've used the first 12 in the 13th month, the yearly cycle, you're going to need to do it. So really, within 13 months, you're going to need a total of $624. This you've paid up front. So if we just take away this, that was just for viewing. So if we go back and concentrate on the next $312, you have options. You can take that money from savings, for example, or you can use that with some bonus check money if it's available. However, if you want to have money, meaning this to fan it out so that the burden of liquidity is lessened, then you really need to say, I need to pay this $312 now, and immediately in the same month, I need to start accounting for it in my supplemental. So meaning you got to take this $312 and you need to divide it by 12. And that comes up with the money you're looking for. That's the 26. So now your supplemental account will have a new line item in it. You're going to have, we call it Art Museum, for example. So in your regular budget, right now you have to add a line item that's going to say Art Museum at 26. And every month for a year, you're going to take that money and goes to supplemental. Goes to sup. So you can see the value. This is just one example, but you can see the value of paying up front. If you have the means to do it, then it is wiser to do so. That's a clear choice. Is right here in words, clear choice. In this case, this is a savings of $384 over a 2-year period. So this is something to consider in looking at things, say, in the way of, I like to do this. This is important to me. Like an art museum, I'm a regular visitor, so this might be something you may be willing to throw money out for. But you might not have the money to pay, for example, your auto insurance, because that's a bigger number. So you have to make choices that work for you, but you can also see there's a good value, again, in paying up front if you have the ability.
Okay, that's going to conclude this section. And in the next video, we're going to get into section 3.2, paying for extracurricular activities in the budget. So we will see you there, and thanks for joining.